Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating presentation by Ricardo Luan that pretty much completely flips the script on how we learn and remember things. Okay, so let's just jump right into this with a little challenge. Right where you're sitting, I want you to imagine I just gave you exactly 30 seconds to memorize 10 completely random words in perfect order. After that, you get 30 seconds to write them down and 30 seconds to check your answers. Sound stressful? Well, trust me, you are definitely not alone in feeling that way.
When Ricardo ran this rapid memory test with a live audience, you could literally feel the tension in the room. The reaction was basically just a chorus of grunting and moaning. And, why is that? Because most of us instantly default to forced rote repetition. We just repeat the words over and over and over in our heads, just crossing our fingers that they stick. It's frustrating, it's totally exhausting, and honestly, it rarely works out well. But, as we're going to see today, the problem isn't actually our brains, it's our method.
To really get how to fix this, let's take a quick look at Ricardo's own background. He wasn't born with some magical photographic memory. Actually, he flunked high school twice. He describes those 7 years as absolute torture. But then, after high school, he spent 9 months working as a grocery bagger out in California. And out there, he had this realization. He actually loved learning. He loved learning how to bag groceries super fast, how to drive, how to chat with random strangers. He realized he didn't hate learning at all, he just hated the traditional way he was forced to do it. And that massive realization led him to study psychology, figure out how to learn efficiently, and eventually, get this, he ended up organizing the Dutch National Memory Championships.
Which brings us right back to that super frustrating 30-second test. Was grunting through repetitive, rote memorization really the best way to tackle it? Absolutely not. No way. So let's move forward and see how this builds into a completely different approach. I'm going to guide you through a new, surprisingly relaxing visualization experience right now. I just want you to sit back, take a breath, and picture exactly what I describe. Ready? Okay, let's begin at the very bottom of your body. Focus entirely on your feet. Vividly imagine someone you know named John. Got him? Okay. John reaches up, grabs the literal sun right out of the sky, and throws it directly onto your feet. Suddenly, your feet are getting really big, highly swollen, and bright red because John just threw the burning hot sun on them. Try to see it as clearly as you can in your mind's eye. Now, let's move that visual journey up to your knees. On your knees, you see a tiny, frankly bizarre sight. 10 little guys are aggressively playing a game of basketball right there on your kneecaps. And look at what they're wearing, brightly colored shirts that say New York Knicks. You literally have Knicks playing on your knees. Keep guiding that mental journey upwards to your thighs. But wait, your thighs are completely gone. Instead, they've been magically replaced by Ford cars. Maybe it's a pair of Ford Focuses, or maybe roaring Ford Mustangs. Vroom! Feel the cold metal right where your thighs used to be. Your thighs are now Fords. Now bring your attention to your bottom. Instead of wherever you're sitting right now, imagine you feel the hard, vibrating plastic seat of a go-kart. The engine is rumbling wildly beneath you, and you can feel that intense vibration right on your bottom. Moving up, your belly starts rumbling, and it's really loud. So loud it leads you straight to a McDonald's. And standing there is Ronald McDonald himself, but he has a futuristic ray gun. He starts shooting bright rays of light right at your belly. Yep, Ronald McDonald shooting rays of light. But Ronald's ray gun slips and hits you right on the chest. Suddenly, a huge, wild bush of gray hairs starts rapidly growing out of your chest. It's incredibly absurd and, frankly, a bit itchy. Really picture that massive, uncontrollable bush of gray hair taking over your chest. Ugh. So you rush home to shave it off, and you see a letter on your doormat. You open it, and it's incredible news. You read it, and suddenly a huge physical weight falls completely off your shoulders. Your shoulders feel light and tingly because you just paid all of your bills. Every single bill is paid, lifting that heavy weight right off your shoulders. You head into the bathroom, feeling great, but you look in the mirror and check your neck. Out of nowhere, a bunch of tiny bushes of very thin blonde hair have suddenly appeared all over your neck. Just thin blonde bushes of hair everywhere. And as you're staring at your neck in the mirror, suddenly your mouth starts moving entirely on its own. It animates and starts chanting out loud in this rhythmic beat. Yes, we can, over and over. Your mouth just totally takes control. Finally, you turn around in shock and suddenly, Donald Duck is right there, and he just poked both of your eyes with a trumpet made of pure gold. Donald Duck poking your eyes with a gold trumpet. Okay, take a deep breath. You can open your eyes now and come back to reality. It's a lot safer here, I promise.
Okay, so why on earth did we just do all of that? Well, because without even trying, you just effortlessly memorized the past 10 presidents of the United States in exact chronological order. Let's check it. John throwing the sun on your feet? President Johnson. Nix on your knees? Nixon. Thighs replaced by Fords? Ford. Go-kart vibrating your bottom? Carter. Ronald McDonald shooting rays at your belly? Reagan. Bush of gray hair on your chest? Bush Sr. Paid your bills, weight off your shoulders? Clinton. Bush of blonde hair on your neck? Bush Jr. Mouth saying yes we can? Obama. Donald Duck with a gold trumpet to your eyes? Trump. Now, I do want to strictly emphasize here that these are purely neutral mnemonic anchors used entirely for memory recall, but just look at how incredibly fast and wonderfully they work.
You know, this brilliantly illustrates the massive difference between our approaches to learning. The old way is just repeating words over and over, which, as we discussed, just leads to grunting, moaning, and, well, forgetting. The new way, it's about linking bizarre, vividly imagined images to a sequence you already know perfectly, your own body. By making the images totally absurd, your brain easily holds on to them. Learning suddenly transforms from this awful chore into something that is actually fun and completely effortless. It's a real game changer.
But let's pause and pivot for a second. In today's digital age, where we can just snap a picture of a screen or, ask our smartphones to remember literally everything for us, why should we care? Why should anyone still want to get better at memorizing? What's the actual point of all this mental gymnastics?
Now, here's what's really interesting, the core philosophy behind it. We aren't just learning to memorize party tricks here. Improving a specific skill like memory is really about unlocking a meta skill, the skill of experimentation. It's the process of trying different methods to discover what works best for you. When you learn how to experiment, you are essentially learning how to get better at getting better at anything. It's what allows for continuous, lifelong transformation.
At the organization Remind, where Ricardo works to teach the science and art of learning, they break this mastery down into a really simple 3-step framework. It's a continuous loop: the check, the experience, and the experiment. Let's actually walk through exactly how you just experienced all 3 of these stages during our time together today.
Step 1 is the check. This is all about becoming acutely aware of what you are doing right now. Remember at the very beginning of this explainer when I asked you to imagine memorizing those 10 random words in 30 seconds? That was the check. It made you aware of your default method, rote repetition, and made you realize that, frankly, it just wasn't working very well and was only causing unnecessary stress. Step 2 is the experience. This means being open to new possibilities and actually giving them a genuine try. That was the bizarre, wacky visual journey we just took from your feet all the way up to your eyes. By fully participating in that vivid storytelling, you gave yourself a fresh, undeniably effective alternative. You experienced firsthand that opening yourself up to a slightly wacky new method really does pay off.
And finally, step 3 is the experiment. This is where you take something from that strange new experience and apply it to a completely different area of your own life. So the absolute crucial point here is that this final step is completely up to you. For example, here's a light bulb moment. If you constantly forget people's names when you meet them at a party, could you use bizarre visual anchors to remember them next time? That right there is the essence of the experiment. It's highly valuable and you can apply it immediately.
As Ricardo states so perfectly, anyone can improve themselves by experimenting. It honestly doesn't matter if you're learning martial arts, complex mathematics, or just trying to remember your grocery list without writing it down. This process of learning sticks with you. It spans across all domains of life, and it absolutely proves that no one, no matter their age or their past struggles with school, is too rusty to learn something new.
So, I'm going to end with this final question for you. What old habit will you experiment with today? You now have the literal blueprint to fundamentally change how you learn. So get out there, find a new way to approach something old, and embrace the incredibly valuable art of learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy experimenting.